It's beautiful Wednesday, October 8th, and you're listening to the Oklahoma Breakdown with Ikard and Lehman, presented by Riverwind Casino. Riverwind is Oklahoma City's premier casino experience, and there are so many reasons why Riverwind is consistently voted OKC's #1 casino, but it all starts with their amazing variety of gaming thrills and excitement. Riverwind's beautiful award-winning environment plays host to more than 2,800 of the latest electronic games with a huge selection of table games, including blackjack, blackjack match roulette, and Teddy's favorite, craps. No matter what your game, Riverwind has it in spades and hearts. And to learn more about their gaming promotions and entertainment options, all you got to do is visit riverwind.com. Riverwind Casino, always a good time, and happy Texas Hate Week, Ted.
Love it. Love it. It's like a holiday all week, isn't it?
It's my favorite week of the year, and I'm not being dramatic. I love this week. Maybe happy Texas Hate Week to all that celebrate. How about that? I know some Texas fans will be checking in on this, just seeing what we have to say. But we got to start here, man. We don't know if John Mateer's going to play.
Don't know.
We're all going to find out together sometime on Saturday, I imagine.
Yep. I would be. I mean, we'll see what the availability report stuff says, but I just, you're not going to know till you see who jogs out for the first series. It would be my guess. If he doesn't play, I would say the appearance will look like he is right up until he's not.
I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
Do you remember in your entire OU career practicing indoors for a Tuesday practice? Did it involve a thunderstorm?
Where it was 77 degrees outside and just about as nice of a day as you could have? It would have been rare. That's for sure.
Same. Same. So I'm to the point where I kind of expect him to play. I don't know. But with the way that some of the things are being handled, kind of points to him giving it a go. We'll see. We'll all find out on Saturday.
Yep. That's making the week even better, isn't it?
I need your help though in my preview portion, because do I act like Mateer's going to play, or do I act like Hawkins is going to be the guy at quarterback? I don't know what to do, man. I need your help.
I guess you'll have to talk about it both a little bit,
Oh. Well, the good thing is I usually keep my piece short, so it won't go that long. Reminder, people, please help us out and show up. Red River Reunion at Texas Live on Friday. We are on at 11 a.m. The whole thing is 11 to 2. Now, originally, we were batting leadoff for Mac Brown and Barry Switzer. There's been a change. We are now batting leadoff for Mac Brown, Barry Switzer, and Brian Bosworth.
Yeah, they needed some more personality with that group, right?
It's going to be awesome. So, Texas Live on Friday, 11 a.m. to 2. Red River Reunion. Please come. Please show up early so that we don't look like idiots. Please.
Yes, please.
We also, tomorrow at 11 a.m. on our YouTube channel, I think it's the best In the Weeds we've ever done with our guy, Dusty Dvoracek. It is a deep dive into the X's and O's and some of the matchups and some of the situations for OU Texas on Saturday. You're not going to find a better piece of OU Texas preview content than this. You're just not. It's awesome.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to do. It was great.
Let's get into it, man.
All right.
It's time. OU's defense, arguably the best defense in the country, against Texas's offense. What are you watching for, Ted?
Yeah, I think it's an intriguing matchup. Whenever you look at our defense and the way they've played, all things point to us being healthy. Jade Jackson, Dominic Williams going to be back. Eli Bowen got to play. Kendall Dobie's out there. We're at full strength on defense, and we've played really good. And the fascinating thing, in my opinion, is we have been able to play our style through the first 5 games of the season and force everyone to adapt to what we do. Typically on offense, by all kinds of different things, personnel, shift, motion, all these things, you typically have the defense that's adapting and reacting to you. Well, we flipped that. And it'll be interesting if we can continue that. Texas, everyone knows, everyone's heard, we've talked about it. The offense is not functioning like it really has in the past. And I think there's several reasons for that. The lack of run game, they've had to replace several offensive linemen from a year ago. They're not getting the movement. They're not as violent up front as they've been in the past. At running back, they've been a little banged up, and that's really, throwing a wrench in the gears of the way that Sark's offense is typically operated. What you and I have both always liked about Sark is they're not overly complicated, but he has a method of getting to the concepts he likes. And usually it's, you come out in whatever personnel grouping, you have a new shift that you really haven't shown previously, and those are easy to add, but he does a good job by sprinkling in new shifts. There's a shift concept that's going to go with this game. There's going to be a motion concept on top of that and it could be a couple of different players that they motion out of this shift. And then you have a couple of concepts in the run game, which you see kind of week to week, but the combinations and how they get there can be a little bit different. Then you build play action off of those looks and those runs. There's screens off of those looks and those runs, both to wide receivers, to running backs, to tight ends. And, this whole operation just kind of works in and out, and he kind of riffs on these different looks. And it's not functioning like that this year. And I think it all comes back to the fact that they're not running the ball the way that they typically have. And just dialing in on the run game. It feels to me like they don't have a real identity. So the run game kind of looks like, well, let's try this. All right, that's not good. Let's try that. All right, screw that. Let's get back to what we do. Let's try that. Okay, we can't do that anymore. So it's just these kind of hit and miss single shot run game concepts that they can't really find any ground in. You go to the Florida game, they run some hand sweep concepts, which he's always liked, but they don't get anywhere with it. You'll get some down and around type of stuff. They'll add the center to it, and you'll get some different back action in the backfield, but they don't have success. So the ability to build on it really isn't there. So I don't know what we're going to see in the run game. I imagine you'll see some pin pull stuff with him trying to attack the perimeter somehow, some way, shape, or form. They'll add the quarterback sweep in there. That's always been something Sark has done. Just snap it to the quarterback. Here we go, down and around, back leading out of the backfield, student body right and left. I think we'll get some different versions of him attacking the perimeter. You'll get some of the counter stuff on the inside in the gap scheme, whether it's faking a jet sweep and Arch is running the quarterback counter, or if it's more the traditional version where, you got a tight end and a guard pulling and you're kind of handing it to the back and you're building RPO stuff off of it. But I expect us to shut down the run. And because of that, I'm just curious how much and what angles of attack is Sark going to try to hit us with. And I don't know. I just think that he's going to probe around kind of like he has. Is that match up with what you've seen, Gabe?
Yeah, it's. I think clearly Arch Manning gets the brunt of the criticism because he's Arch Manning. He's the quarterback.
We'll get to that.
He's got the ads and all that stuff. But when I watch Texas's offense, it's clear to me their biggest issue is they've taken a large step back on the offensive line. They sent 4 guys to the NFL.
Yep.
And those guys played multiple seasons together. And they didn't go out into the portal and get any offensive linemen. So you thought, hey, they feel good about it. They feel good about their development. They feel good about the talent in the room. They were wrong. They have one of the worst offensive lines in the SEC. And run game, pass game, I'm sure we'll get to some of the pass protection issues they've had. They have a very large left guard problem. They've tried 3 different guys. They all have played very poorly. And this is the thing about the O-line. If you have a weak link, like a glaring weak link, you're not going to have a good offensive line. You're just not. And they have a glaring issue. When you turn the tape on, they've got a left guard problem. And it has really hurt them consistently throughout this season.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they've got issues other places. Like, they are worse at 4 of the 5 positions. They're worse at left tackle. They're worse at left guard. They're worse at center. They're worse at right tackle than they were a year ago. The only reason they're not worse at right guard is because it's the same guy.
Yeah.
They've taken a big step back along the offensive line, and some of those guys are young. They haven't played a lot of ball. Like, I expect them to get better, but right now that group as a whole is struggling.
Yeah. Yeah, so the run game and you know, they've become far more limited offensively than what we've seen in the past. So that'll be interesting. Run game. Probe around. He's going to attack the perimeter some way or the other with some pin pull stuff, some down and around sweep type plays, hand sweeps, quarterback sweeps, jet sweeps. And then they're going to, try and attack us on the interior, whether it's inside zone, split zone, counter. You're going to get a lot of those things, but they haven't really found that identity yet. So I expect some skipping around to see if they can, this little concept has found a crease for us. The passing game. So, like I said, typically shift motion, build off of it through the run game, and then add in the play action pass. So the pass game is kind of the same thing. Since you don't have great run concepts to build off of, you're kind of trying all kinds of different things in the passing game. And it looks to me like this is a vertical passing team. They want to go vertical. I think that's where Arch is best, is throwing, the deep crossers, the go balls, the rail balls. They love the 3-level stuff where you have a guy taking the top off, a deep cell in behind, and just someone getting to the flat, really usually as a decoy, because he is sending the football. They want to push it downfield, so they're going to try and build some levels in the passing game to help him push it down, because he hasn't had, when they've played the better competition, a lot of time to go, well, the deep's not there, second level's not there, let's just come and check it down. He's usually sped up, and he's trying to rip that first deep concept that he sees. They're going to run screens, and they're going to get to screens a bunch of different ways. Running back screens, tight end screens, hide screens, and then they're going to go screen and go off of it. Maybe it's the tight end. Maybe it's the slot receiver. Maybe it's the back who's coming up on the front side of the 3-by-1 screen that's coming back, and he's just going to rip it down the seam. They're going to find a way to attack you through the screen game, and that's been pretty big for him. Arch Manning, he has struggled with accuracy. His clock is sped up. The timing and whenever your offense is working, there's a bunch of easy completions, right? We've built this concept. Now I'm going to hit the out route. I hit the out route last time, so let's attack that guy, get him to jump the out and throw the seven in behind it. It all looks really easy because the defense is kind of spinning, but they haven't been able to put drives together where they're methodical and it all flows. They've been bad on third down. They're facing some bad down and distances on third down because the running game's not there. So it's left the passing game as disjointed as the running game. But he's struggled, but just like you can take all of the predictions about him winning the Heisman and laugh at him and flush him, take all the predictions about Arch being horrible and the problem for this team and he's the biggest flop ever. You could take that, laugh at it, and flush it as well because it's not true. I think he throws a great ball on the downfield routes. He is great when he's comfortable, when the timing isn't sped up in his head and he gets a pocket to throw from. He can absolutely rip the football. And he's the biggest part of their run game whenever he pulls it down and scrambles. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's their leading rusher. He has been in their critical games. So don't believe you shouldn't have believed the hype about the Heisman. Don't believe the hype that he's terrible because he's going to make some plays in this game. He's too good not to.
He got sacked 6 times in the Florida game. It could have been 10, 12. Some of the biggest plays in the game, like their biggest plays in the passing game, he's avoiding a sack and then throwing the football down the field.
Yeah. He's in pretty much all of the production of their entire offense against Florida was him avoiding a sack and making a great throw downfield or picking up some chunk yardage. The only exception to that is him throwing a pass while he is eating a helmet and getting absolutely annihilated and still completing some nice passes down the field. I mean, you can count on one hand the amount of times he dropped back, had a clean pocket, and let a ball go downfield. I mean, it just didn't happen.
The Texas offense clearly has issues. Arch Manning is very low on the list of their issues.
Yep.
Anyone that turns on the tape and kind of knows what they're looking at sees that. Like he's not getting a lot of help around him. They're not, they can't run it. And it all stems, I think it all starts with the O-line problem they've got.
Yeah. And I think he has had some inaccurate throws and some problems there when he has had clean space to throw from. But again, I think that's created from where am I getting hit from right when I let go of this? He doesn't trust it. So I think that's where the accuracy problems come in. But he is a good athlete. He will make you pay. You have to keep in your rush lanes. You can't just bail on responsibility and coordinated rushes. You have to be able to contain him. So that's just kind of how I see it as what their offense has kind of been through this year. Just to look at some of the personnel, we talked about Arch. Parker Livingstone, 13, is their leading receiver. They like to get him the ball a bunch of different ways. He's their go-to guy. He'll run wheel routes. He'll run, concepts on the sideline, crossers. They'll trying to find a way to hide him and, kind of skirt him across the defense as a throwback player. They really target him a lot.
He's made some nice competitive catches this season for him.
Yep.
He
And
took a big shot to that leg in the Florida game, though.
oh
That did
my
not look like it felt good, dude.
gosh, he got totally undercut. He's been a little banged up, but I was shocked whenever I looked it up. He's 6'4". I mean, he's a big guy. He's lean, super lean. I think he's like 190, but he runs well, and he is a big target all over the field for them. Wingo is a big play guy. There's some flashes of brilliance, but there's long stretches where he just kind of disappears in football games. But he's a good athlete. DeAndre Moore, number 0. Uh, he's another good, solid player that, you know, the receiving group outside of Livingstone, no one's really just got into rhythm and had like a blowout game where you say, okay, that's the type of skill players we're used to seeing. It just hasn't happened yet. And then what's the kid's name? He was listed as a defensive back, 21. He's kind of a concept guy. They use him as like receiver. They'll motion him into the backfield and run like some jet sweep or running game.
Ryan Niblett.
Niblett, yeah. He's either that or someone's changed numbers. I mean, he's 21 and
No, he's listed on now. Texas doesn't put out a depth chart, which what are we doing, guys?
right.
Come on. But he is listed on if you Google Texas depth chart, he's on the offensive depth chart and the defensive depth chart on there. So
Gotcha. So he's just kind of an athlete that they use in a bunch of different ways. So when he's in the game, kind of antennas go up that, they ran a double pass against Florida.
Oh.
They'll do some
it's wide open, Ted.
wide open.
It's wide open. You just got to connect, boys. Just
Right down the
underthrow
field.
it. Just underthrow it.
Injuries, 88, the tight end. They'll get him the football just like they've done with some good tight ends they've had in the past. It hasn't really clicked for him yet. They'll run some hide plays, screens. He'll be the guy that runs the screen and go, take off. I don't think he's a great blocker. He's kind of light in the behind a little bit.
It's similar to the offensive line situation. Watching injuries operate in that position, Kasark has featured his tight ends or his like go-to tight end over the last couple of years, whether it was JT Sanders or Gunnar Helm. This made me realize how good of a player Gunnar Helm was.
Yeah.
That dude could do it all for him.
I think it goes back to the fact that the machine isn't functioning properly. So it's hard to build a lot of the things that he did for the tight ends off of things that aren't having success, but you're totally right.
It felt like when Ewers need, like in a big moment, Ewers found Gunnar Helm.
Yep.
And I just don't, as you've mentioned, there's issues here for Texas's offense, but I don't think they're as good at tight end either.
Yeah.
Injuries has been fine. It's he's lower on the list of issues for them offensively, but he is not the player that Helm was for them a year ago.
Nope. And I'll say that he got rolled up late in that game and missed a lot of snaps through, the third and fourth quarter. And we'll see what his availability is and how he feels. And in the backfield, Weisner does not look like himself. They're sprinkling in a couple of different guys. Number 6, number 9, or 6 is a freshman. 9 will come in. I don't think they're very good in pass pro. They have to step up and clean up a lot of problems from the offensive line, and they get beat a lot in pass pro. Not very good, not very physical. We'll see if Baxter is back. I don't know what the status is there, but
there was also a moment Weisner scores a touchdown against Florida and grabs his hammy.
That's right. Yeah.
And I don't think it was the fake I'm grabbing my hammy celebration. It looked like that doesn't feel great. And Baxter and Weisner both have had hammy issues.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to play running back at a high level when you're having hammy issues. It just is.
Yep, it is.
So they are down the depth chart with the running back position.
Yep.
So I
And like no one to me has there's not a lot of plays where you're just like, wow, like athleticism, making guys like this is for running backs, for wide receivers. Not a lot of catch and run stuff where they're creating. It's just I can understand the frustration that they've had. So, I'm very interested to see how Venables plays this because um the way they've operated right now, it's going to be very hard for them to sustain drives down the field against our defense, I believe. Does he heat them up? We brought so much pressure against Kent State that there's going to be a lot of stuff to look at for that Texas offensive line to try and gear up for protection. And have we sent them on a goose chase and Venables is going to play you know, keep everything in front of us, no big plays, force them to drive the field on us. We don't think they can. Or is he going to come after them? I don't know. Probably a mix of both. He's really good at doing that, but I mean, it's an interesting matchup. Do not sleep on Arch Manning. We have to not allow the explosive plays pushing it down the field. They want to go vertical in the passing game, but I think it's a matchup that we can play really well against. I, it's hard not to feel good about our defense on the field with their offense.
anything else?
That's it.
It was a lot.
It was a
But I
lot.
just they've had issues. My hope is they don't solve those issues this
Yeah,
Saturday. You know?
I totally agree. Totally agree. But they will make some plays now, and Arch will have some nice moments.
All right, let's get to what we're watching for with OU's offense versus Texas's defense. But first, download the Loves app from Love's Travel Stops, your guide to savings on the road. Fill up for less with the discount on fuel, 10 cents off on every gallon of gas, and 25 cents off on every gallon of auto diesel. And don't forget, in the store, you can unlock mobile deals on the Loves app to save on snacks, drinks, and select meals at Love's restaurants. Plus, you can plan your pit stops for your next road trip with the map and route planner. All from Love's, the heart of the highway.
It's football time in Oklahoma, and you need beef built like our guys on the field, premium, powerful, and ready to perform. That's Didier Ranch. They're a family ranch right here in Oklahoma, raising and shipping their own beef nationwide. Steak burgers, premium ground beef, and they hand deliver next day to the Oklahoma City metro and surrounding areas. Norman, Moore, Edmond, Yukon, right from their ranch to your doorstep, faster than the Sooner Schooner after a touchdown drive. Premium beef delivered. Visit DidierRanch.com and taste the luxury of tradition.
And we are brought to you by Simple Modern, the Oklahoma-owned company and proud official drinkware partner of the OU Sooners. Football in Gaylord Family Oklahoma Memorial Stadium is rocking all October. Big plays, packed stands, and the exclusive limited edition Simple Modern drinkware drops at each home game. Get yours before everyone else grabs them. Both October home games bring a brand new design only available at that matchup and only while supplies last. I'm telling you, it's the perfect way to stay hydrated while cheering on the Sooners. And with 10% of all profits going to charity, many right here in Oklahoma, every sip supports Oklahomans on and off the field. Simple Modern, good everywhere. All right, looking at OU's offense versus Texas's defense. Clearly, Mateer or no Mateer is a massive, massive deal. But let's just kind of dive into what I've seen from Texas defense up to this point. Watching the Florida game was confusing for me. Texas has been a 4-2-5, mainly 4 down, even front team for the last several years, like an attacking 4 down, even front. Played different types of coverages in the back end. They blitz very, very little. Like they've lined up and played their stuff. And then against Florida kind of drags them into a style of a game that I don't know if they particularly wanted to play. Like Florida majored in 12 personnel, and Florida's got one of the best blocking tight ends in the country.
He's good.
And just kind of took them into the deep water and when you watch it, Texas is playing, it's almost like they go 5 defensive linemen on the field. They play almost like a hybrid of a 3-4 defense and bear.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that stood out is like they played 3 defensive tackles in the interior spots. Whether that they had a head up nose and then a guy that's both guys were kind of in a 4-eye or a wide 3, however you want to view it. But they are in 3-4 defense like read stances. And that's not normally how they play. So I don't know if we can drag them into that style of game.
Yeah.
I can't imagine Ben Arbuckle is going to go 80% 12 personnel in a game. It's just
right.
With what we've got from our tight ends in the run game, I don't think that would be beneficial for us, but it was just really interesting to watch Florida drag them into this style of game, and I was just a little confused by what they did defensively. It was not what I would consider their style, if that makes sense, Ted.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
they got to like some under G out of it, but like this bear 3-4 read and react. It was, I don't know, it felt strange to watch, and they did not play it very well. That's why Florida had this success that they had, and I think they were trying to protect a corner.
Yeah.
They played a bunch of 2-shell, 4-shell, which if you're Florida, you're going, okay, we'll just run it. That's what you're going to do in the back end. We'll just run it. And they did. So I don't think what we saw Texas do against Florida is going to be what we see them play against Oklahoma. I don't think it's going to look similar.
Yeah, I can imagine they probably thought, let's load up front and force Lagway to beat us with his arm, because up to that point, that would be a very reasonable defensive game plan, and he did. He made a bunch of throws on him.
Yeah. Now, when you look at their defense, I think they're best at the edge spots along the defensive line with Simmons and Trey Moore and Ethan Burke, which I really like Ethan Burke, but he's hurt. Like you can see it on the Florida tape. He has very little pop in that game, and he was wearing a knee brace to start the game. And he played very few snaps, but later in the game, the knee brace is gone. So I don't know what's going on there, but he doesn't look like himself, or at least he didn't last week against Florida. I think there's a pretty big drop-off between those 3 edge guys, 1, 8, and 91, and the other guys that they're rotating. The interior defensive line, they're solid. I think they're solid against the run. I think 93, Kanu is their best interior pass rusher. He may be the best interior pass rusher that we've played. He just kind of has a natural feel for things, has some quick, good counters, but they don't have the guys in the interior they've had the last 2 years.
Yeah.
They don't have any early rounders in that group, in my opinion. They don't have like the dynamic guys. Like they don't have a Byron Murphy or even like a Vernon Broughton last year where you just saw him blowing off the ball and he was kind of just wrecking things and you're like, dang, man, okay.
Yeah.
They don't have that guy, or at least I haven't seen anyone look like that guy up to this point in this season. Anthony Hill Jr. is their best player on defense, but I'm confused by some of the things they're doing with him. We'll get to that when I talk about the run game, but heck of a player, can really run. He's fun to watch. Michael Taft at safety, really good player. I think they're solid at corner, but I think that's the weakness. I think attacking their corners is where we're going to have the most success. Now you got to protect, and we all saw what the protection looked like against Kent State, but I think this is a really good Texas defense. Don't let their record make you think that they're not good, but I think the vulnerability is in the secondary. If you have time, like you can create some separation, especially with their corners. They're starting a true freshman at nickel as well. Now he's extremely talented. Littleton, he can fly. He looks like he's going to be a really good player, but he's a true freshman, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So my favorite players. I like 98 Murad Watson in the run game. Just he's hard to move. Anthony Hill Jr., Michael Taft, and then Ethan Burke. I really like, but he did not look like himself against Florida. So that's definitely something I've got an eye on. But that's kind of how I see it from a structure standpoint. They typically are a 4-2-5 team that lines up and runs their stuff. Blitz very little. They'll jump into 4-down odd spacing to give you just a little different feel, but that's usually what you get. You don't typically get what you saw from them against Florida. I think Florida just forced them to play a different style, and ultimately Texas didn't play that style very well.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm kind of fascinated to see what our method is for attacking them. I kind of feel like, empty's been a really good formation for us on offense. Like I wonder with their corners being a weakness and maybe spreading them out some and going empty and getting to some different things, at least by presenting that formation to start, could be good.
It all depends on if Mateer plays or not.
Yeah.
Mateer has proven he's very comfortable operating an empty, hand signaling to receivers, changing things at the line of scrimmage. And I went back and watched the Kent State game again. And that was one thing I noticed in the rewatch was we really didn't see any of the hand signaling stuff from Hawkins.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. Now, let's get to the run game. Some run game thoughts. You can throw every concept you want, but the bottom line is the offensive line better come off the rock and play with great technique and effort, or we're going to get nothing in the run game. They're stout, man. They're big and heavy in the interior. They're solid at the edge. I mean, they play with good technique, good pad level. If you are not physical and play with great technique, the run game is not going to go anywhere. It's just the truth. That being said, here we go. I continue to believe that spreading teams out and running the ball is the best way for this offense to operate. Zone insert, split zone with the wider track, counter as a changeup, all the quarterback read run game built off those concepts, maybe some RPOs off those concepts as well, because their safeties are very aggressive in run support. Very aggressive. Wide receivers, when we're running it, wide receivers are going to have to come flying in to try to crack those safeties and disrupt some of those fits because those guys really trigger. Now, defensive tackles are heavy. Heavy, hard to move. Let's make those guys move laterally. The split zone play with the wider track, I've changed. I called it split zone influence, Ted. The one where Hawkins pulled the read concept and Kanik was out in front, lead blocking for him. I'm changing it to split zone bluff.
Okay.
Because you're bluffing the split zone. Maybe it's bluff read. That's a lot of words, but I like that better. Someone told me to call it that on Twitter. I was like, I like that. That's good. But I continue to think attacking the edges, speed sweeps will probably be a big piece of what we do to get out on the edges and make their defensive backs get off blocks and make tackles in space. Simmons in the run game, Colin Simmons, he is slippery, man.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of just bends around. Now, he's physical. He can hold the point better than you think he can when you see him. But he also does some things where he just kind of bends around the tackle. He's like, here I am, and gets behind him somehow. It's interesting to watch. We do not have a tight end that has proven that they can block their edge guys one-on-one in the run game. Now, maybe Caden Helms goes out there and proves that he can be that guy. Maybe Carson Kent goes out there and proves he can be that guy. But I just don't know if that matchup is great. So maybe we get to some tackle over stuff. Maybe we get to see Fozzy sprint out onto the field, get to some extra lineman stuff, just to make those edge guys, like if Burt, if he's hurt, make him hold up against 600 pounds, you know?
Yeah.
Make Colin Simmons, he wants to rush the passer, and he's very good at it. Make him do the dirty work and sit and anchor on 300, 350 pounds. Just sprinkle in some of that stuff. But let me get to my most important run thought. I mentioned that they're doing some things that I don't really understand with Anthony Hill Jr. I will be shocked if 3-by-1 with the trips to the field and the single receiver into the boundary is not a huge part of what we do formationally in this game. Because up to this point, and it's not 100%, but it's somewhere between 90 and 100. If you get in 3-by-1 with the trips to the field, Anthony Hill Jr., their best player, is not in the core of the defense. He goes and plays over number 3 to the trips. And what they do is they have, typically it's Jelani McDonald, a safety, roll down and play the Will Backer spot into the boundary. I know that we haven't run it well this season. I completely understand that. But if you're getting a 6-man box with one of the inside backers being a safety, you got to be able to run the ball a little bit, man. And if you're getting their best player out of the core, you got to be able to run it, man. You have to. So now you have to ID it properly along the offensive line. 4 is a linebacker. He's a linebacker. 0 should not be in the count, whether you're running counter to the boundary, you're just running wide zone to the boundary. Like 0 is not in your count. QB run game into the boundary against the 6-man box where the running back becomes an extra blocker in the scheme. You have a numbers advantage. If that's how they're going to continue to line up to 3-by-1 with trips to the field and the single wide receiver into the boundary, and that's whether it's an inline tight end, a wide receiver split out, like they line up that way consistently. You got to be able to run it into that look with their best player removed from the action.
Yeah.
You have to, man. And whether it's Mateer or Hawkins, I don't really care. QB run game to the boundary in that look is really, really good. There's a few different things you can do, whether it's QB counter, just some zone, like just straight up QB sweep. You should be able to find some money there in the run game. If you can't, I'm going to be very sad.
Well, I like that. And yeah, if you can take as much as you can take Anthony Hill out of the football game, you got to do it. You did mention something there, so I guess this is as good a time to ask as any. If Mateer plays, because of the thumb, I'm curious how much they want him to run the ball, knowing that guys are going to be punching and clawing at it, and and I don't know if the ins and outs of that injury, if there's a big risk of re-breaking it or whatever, but I'm curious, do you think there's a chance that Hawkins comes in for the quarterback run stuff and Mateer is out there for more of the pass game? I mean, I know that Hawkins does both, but I'm just curious, like how much they'd want him to carry the football if in fact he does play.
I think if John Mateer plays, he's going to go out there and be John Mateer.
Yeah.
And we're all going to be nervous about it.
Every snap.
That's just how I feel, man. Just being around that guy for the limited times that I've been around him. I think if he goes out and plays, he's like, dude, I play one way. Here we go.
Yeah. Fair.
And now, would it make a lot of sense to sprinkle Hawkins in a little bit? Keep that Texas defense on their toes, make their antennas go up? Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. But if you're going to go out there and play an OU Texas, you got to be able to operate the entire offense, right?
That's right.
Or you're just going straight up, let's spread them out, let's throw it around the yard.
Which I don't mind. I feel like that's when we've been at our best.
We haven't run it efficiently all season long.
No.
It's hard to imagine, hey, everything's going to click against Texas. who's got a solid defense. They're good, man. They are. So we'll see. You would imagine that Arbuckle would be hesitant to run Mateer because that's the issue. Like him taking a helmet to the thumb. Anthony Hill, dude, you talk about a violent attacker of the football with a punch.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he tries to punch a hole into the football. And that's what you worry about. You don't worry about him dropping back and gripping the ball and ripping it. Like that's going to be fine. It's the running piece and the way that he plays that makes you a little nervous.
Yep.
But that being said, I like the QB counter stuff in between the tackles against Texas. It's not a game where I think the QB run game just needs to attack the perimeter, and it's because Texas, they've got really good players at linebacker and safety and really good tacklers at linebacker and safety. But other than LaFau, 18, they're guys that just like secure the tackle and get you on the ground.
Yeah.
They're not out here trying to yard sale you each and every snap. Like they're fundamentally sound, like let me get low, get into the legs, wrap up. They don't come flying in trying to dismember you, which I like. I think that group as a whole tackles pretty well, especially in the box. Mm-hmm. But it's not one where I go, okay, if we run QB counter, John Mateer, they're going to come and try to take his head off. It's like, no, they're going to come and try to be fundamentally sound and get him on the ground.
Yeah.
Will we do a lot of that? I have no idea. But I think it's really interesting to see what they play to 12 personnel. I think even though in their good games against Ohio State and against Florida, they've played 5 defensive linemen. Played bear defense. They played under G. They played kind of a 3-4 structure, but they've gone with 5 defensive linemen with Trey Moore and Colin Simmons as the edge guys. 3 defensive tackles on the interior. I think they're going to play nickel when we go 12.
Probably.
I think they're going to think that they can stop our run game with how much it has struggled. I think they're going to think that they can stop our run game with their base defense. Yep. It's up to the O-line and tight ends and backs to make them wrong and to have to make them adjust. We'll see. But I think coming into this game, you always go, hey, what's our best? And I think our best stuff is 11 personnel with Kanik as the tight end.
Yeah.
Spread people out, run it, and throw it.
I like that. I agree.
Will we see some 12? I'm sure we'll see some snaps of it, but I don't think we're going to be Florida all of a sudden and run 12 personnel pretty much the entire game.
Yeah. No, I agree with that 100%.
Get into some pass game thoughts. If it is Hawkins, get him some layups early. Get him on the move early. Move the pocket with him. Sprint pass to the right. Sprint pass to the left. Boot. If he's not comfortable right now sitting in the pocket, if he doesn't trust it, and he shouldn't have a lot of reasons to trust it with how this group pass protected against Kent State, but then just don't ask him to do a ton of that in this game. Move the pocket, quick, easy reads. Get the ball out of his hand. Get him some layups early if it is Hawkins. Now, Mateer, if he's playing, spread him out, baby, and let's sling this thing, you know?
Yep.
4 wide or empty, and he's been so good at picking the matchups that he wants to work. Just let him, if he's going out there and playing, let him go do his thing.
Yep.
Let him go out there and sling it. Now, the safeties for Texas really react strongly to what a quarterback is doing with his eyes. DJ Lagway had some big plays down the field where he's looking one way. The safeties are flying over there in zone coverage, and he turns the other way late and fires a ball for a big completion. I would love to see that, whether it's Hawkins or Mateer. I would love to see that because there are big throws to be made if you can manipulate Michael Taft or Jelani McDonald with your eyes. One thing about Michael Taft, I really like him as a player. He seems like an incredible dude as well. But That man loves to jump an in breaking route. Loves to jump it. I'm not saying it's easy, but if you can somehow double move him in the middle of the field, and Keontez Lewis has been the middle of the field guy for us. I don't know if Keontez is playing or not. It sounds like he's somehow completely fine from that whole thing.
Yeah.
But he's your middle of the field guy. If you can double move Taft in the middle of the field, there's a big play to be had because he drives on those in breaking routes. Like he wants to break that up. He's like, no. You're not completing this deep dig against me, which I respect. But if you can find a way to kind of make him think that dig is coming, then take it vertical, there could be a big play there. They are completely willing to give up throws to the running back in the flat. Defensively, they said, you want it, take it. We'll come up, we'll rally up, we'll tackle. They're going to let you have it. Take it a couple times. And I wouldn't mind lining up, like if we go no running backs on the field, which we saw a couple times against Kent State, whether it's Satania or Burks, like line them up at running back, let them run out into the flat and throw it to them and see if they can go do something with it.
Yeah.
Giovanni Gibson, big body, line them up in the backfield, make these defensive backs from Texas come up and tackle. But they are completely content allowing you to just take the check down into the flat to the running back. They're fine with it. Quick screens out on the outside. You got to test the physicality of those corners. Now, it sounds like Malik Muhammad's going to be back, who is their best corner. He missed the Florida game. And I think him being out is a big reason why they played as much deep zone coverage as they did against Florida. But we'll see. I think it'll look pretty different with him back on the field for him. But you got to make these guys on the outside get off blocks and make tackles. And if it's Hawkins, those are easy layup throws. Like, hey, quick, ball out of your hand. Here we go.
Yep.
And also for Mateer, like, guys coming off a broken thumb, let's get him some throws where, hey, ball's out of his hand real quick.
I agree.
So I mentioned it earlier, but playing a true freshman at nickel, Grayson Littleton, extremely talented. But Burks, Satania, Canick, let's try to create some matchups and make the young man go out there and cover on the biggest stage he's ever played in.
Yeah.
So I just one of those things. You gotta see what type of day Grayson Littleton's having in his first OU Texas.
That's right. Yep.
Got some bad news about running back and tight end screens, Ted.
Uh-oh.
Turns out if your offense screens you to death in practice all the time, you're pretty good at playing screens. It makes sense. They are good at, especially on the interior of when it feels like screen, they shut it down and they sprint to the ball. So they play them pretty well, unfortunately. My last thing, actually, in 2x2, if you're in a balanced formation, and if you're in 4 wide, let's say it's 4 wide receivers, you're in 2x2. Be careful on the quick throws out to the sideline to number 1. They do a very good job of collisioning number 2 in those 2x2 sets, those inside receivers, and getting underneath number 1. They do a really nice job of it. It's clearly a point of emphasis what they want to do defensively. So careful with those quick throws on like a quick hitch to the outside. Just like a little stop route. You think, easy access throw. He's wide open. Those inside defenders do a nice job of getting underneath those quickly.
Super aggressive, yeah. Which gives you an opportunity to maybe at some point use that against them.
Biggest plays they've given up all year long are wide receivers going up and making competitive plays over the top of guys. This is not a group that is just cut guys free. Somebody, and it'd be great if it's multiple people for OU, you got to go make a play. You got to go over the top of a guy on his head and make a play. Florida had multiple of them. from Dallas Wilson and Vernell Brown. Both those guys are true freshmen. They went and made plays for DJ Lagway. He gave them a chance. Those guys went over the top of people and made plays. Ohio State, pretty much the one big play they had in the entire football game. Carnell Tate goes over the top of a guy and catches the touchdown. Whether it's Giovanni Gibson, Deion Burks, even like Satania, I don't care who it is. Canick, someone needs to go make a dang play like that.
Yep.
Because you're not just going to be running free in this game. That's not how it's going to work. And if it's Mateer, Mateer's going to give him a chance.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Go become an OU Texas legend, boys.
That's right.
Go over the top of the Ted. Quick question for you: if you make a big play in this game, can it be a big deal for the rest of your life?
It can go on for a while. It can go on for a while.
I'm just saying, someone please go over the top of someone and make a big play, because those have been the plays that have gotten Texas's defense. It's like competitive situations like that where it's just like, hey, I'm going and getting the ball. That has to happen. Pass pro. It's interesting. Only 11 sacks on the season for Texas. That being said, Colin Simmons has an elite get-off. One of the better pass rushers in college football, but he is antsy, man. I say it a lot. I'm going to say it again. We must weaponize the clap. Fake clap, double clap, triple clap. Don't care. Fake double clap. I don't care. You have to do it early, too.
Yeah.
You got to get in one's head and not let him time it up. If he times it up, Derek Simmons is going to have a very long day.
Yep.
Very long day. And maybe you chip with backs, you chip with the tight end, you give Simmons some help after the way that he looked against Kent State, which I'm choosing to believe was an aberration.
Yeah. I hope so.
I'm choosing to believe that the Derek Simmons I saw against Michigan and Auburn is going to show up, not the one I saw against Kent State. Now, professional courtesy. We struggled mightily with the 6-up double mug backers look, with the two backers in the A-gaps against Kent State. They picked our center. They twisted us, ran a slide beater. They got us multiple times. Guess what I think Texas is going to get in the first third and long of the game, Ted?
Little 6-up action?
I think a little 6-up action.
Can you guys protect?
Professional courtesy. Let's see if these guys have ironed out the issues. And hopefully we have. Their typical second and long, third and long look is they'll either get in 5-up. Sometimes they'll put Anthony Hill over a guard, and they'll put him and Colin Simmons on the same side, and they're trying to just get those two guys one-on-ones. They're banking on you going 5 down and blocking the 5 down guys at the line of scrimmage. They'll run twists out of that. That's their thing, is 5-up and 6-up with twists. Once again, they blitz very little. So I'm expecting them to get into the double mug look just to see if we've ironed it out. And then if we prove that we can block that, then they'll get into some of the looks, the 5-up and 6-up looks that they have done throughout this season, where it's, and you have to know, number 1's a defensive lineman. Number 8's a defensive lineman. Even though they're playing Trey Moore at inside backer quite a bit, which I know I already did my pass game stuff, but he's been an edge guy his entire college career. If they're going to play him at inside backer, let's see if he can cover a little bit,
Yep. Can it?
But they want, in their twist games, they want Colin Simmons and Trey Moore to be the loop guys. And to their credit, whether it's a linebacker or a defensive tackle or another defensive end that they kick inside to rush, like their penetrator guys, they sacrifice themselves. They go hauling up the field and try to ear hole linemen, and then those loop guys they just have a great feel of the timing of that stuff. Their twist games are really good. So let's try to avoid second and long and third and medium to long, because that allows them to get to these looks with their twist games that they execute at a very high level, Ted.
Big challenge. Yep, that's what we're and we know. You called it out. We struggle with that. We're going to see it. We got to be good, and we need a bounce back game from that group. Hopefully, we're healthy there and ready to roll.
Typically, you hear me complain on here, like if the running backs guy doesn't come in protection, like I usually get frustrated if they don't get out on a route and affect the defense. Some of these situations with how good their twist games are, wouldn't mind them staying in every once in a while. There are multiple plays in the Florida game where their twist works perfectly. Trey Moore or Colin Simmons is coming free, and Jaden Baugh, who shouldn't be in, his guy's not coming, just is kind of in the middle and just picks him up, like just shoulder checks him and prevents a sack.
Yeah.
Multiple times.
Especially Mateer plays. Let's keep him upright. Let's assign him a personal protector back there.
Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. Interior wise, Ozida, Michaela, and Weewu, pack your anchor, boys. 99, 98, 97, 44, power rushers. 93 is the guy that he got a little twitch to him on the interior. But the other guys, here comes the bull. Can you stop it?
Yep.
Last thing on pass protection. I think with what Derek Simmons put on tape last week, I think Texas could look at it and go, hey, we don't need to do really 5 up, 6 up. All we need to do is create that matchup for Colin Simmons. And whether it's, hey, let's just get in an overload, let's try to force a 4-man slide away from it, because Simmons is going to play over Derek Simmons the vast majority of the game. I could see them going, we really like that matchup. Let's just create some looks where we know OU's protection tendencies. They're working away from it here. Like, here we go. Here's the matchup. Go win.
Yeah. Well,
and hopefully Derek Simmons is ready for it.
Yep. We've seen him step up to some good challenges this year, and this is going to be one of the best you'll see the whole season. So hopefully he's got a good bounce back game in him.
All right, let's get to call your shot. We asked you, one more pass protection thing. If 0 is in the count, if the offensive line is responsible for him, do not let him get you with the coffee house. That's what coffee house is, where a linebacker, he's up, he pretends like he's dropping back into his own coverage, does a little 1 count, and then comes on a blitz, hoping that your eyes will go away from him because you think he's dropping.
Yep.
He did it against San Jose State. Don't let him get us with it.
That's why it helps if that back is staying in a little bit longer. Take that extra count or two to clear things before you go swinging out to the flat.
Let's get to Carter Shot. We asked you guys, number one thing you'll be watching for in OU, Texas. This first one comes from Antonio McBeath, who says, can OU score at least 24 points? I think that's what it will take to win the game. Defense will give them all the opportunity in the world.
I feel like 24 would be a great number if you can put that up. I think I would maybe put the target even lower than that. I trust our defense. I think it's going to be very hard for Texas to score a bunch of points. You never know what happens in this game. But yeah, if our offense could put up 24, I would feel really good about it. If you told me today we scored 24 points, I'd feel pretty daggum good about the football game. We'll see. Who knows what that number is going to be, but we're going to have to find a way to put some points on the board, no doubt. And they're going to be hard to come by. You got to be smart. You can't give things away. Field position, I think, is going to be critical. Field goal kicking, I think, is going to be critical. This could come down to a field goal kicking contest, so we'll see.
This other one comes from Kurt the Sooner, who says, violence. I'm looking for some physicality in every aspect of the game. That's good. Yeah.
Yep. And
It's sometimes football simple, man, especially this game. Who out hits who? Who strains more? Who's more physical? Who's more violent? I and remember, turnovers a lot of the time are a product of violence and effort.
yep. Yeah. It number one, physically it wears guys down. That's when mistakes come. And then you set that reminder in the head. How willing are you to go full stretch over the middle for a football? How likely are you to try and continue to fight on the inside for those extra 2 or 3 yards without eating a safety coming full speed downhill? I agree. Physicality is underrated.
Let's dive a little deeper into the matchup with our guy Fozzy Whittaker. But first,
Schwab Meat has been smoking the highest quality meats, hot dogs, and sausages in OKC since 1912. Go to schwabmeat.com to order any of Schwab's outstanding products and use promo code OKBreakdown for free shipping on orders over $75. Schwab dogs are iconic. I like to keep it simple. Just a bun, dog, mustard, ketchup. Also, the jalapeno cheddar smoked sausage is ridiculous. Schwabmeat.com, code OKBreakdown for free shipping on orders over $75. Schwab Meat, the official hot dog of game days.
with ice cold beers, great food, and TVs all around, Pub W is the perfect spot to catch OU football and NFL Sundays. Pub W has been voted best happy hour 3 years in a row and serves brunch Saturday and Sunday mornings until 2 p.m. You can enjoy classics like chicken and waffles and their steak breakfast burrito, as well as unique dishes like the Big Country Benedict. Plus, brunch Marys, mimosas, and espresso martinis. Visit pubdub.com to find a location near you. Pub W, good food, good drinks, good people.
Insurica's launched a new digital agency introducing Insurica Direct. Whether you're in Oklahoma or anywhere across the U.S., they've got you covered. From small business insurance and health insurance for your employees to insurance for individuals like home, auto, and even Medicare supplements. Insurica Direct's got it all. Start your journey today at insuricadirect.com. Remember, at Insurica, we specialize in you.
It is our pleasure to be joined by my favorite Longhorn. I mean, he is. Fozzy Whittaker is in the house doing a heck of a job calling games for ESPN, man. I love hearing you on the call. You had the Sooners last game. You had OU
Yeah,
Kent State.
I did. I did. I was in Norman for the first time. Obviously, we never get to experience each other's kind of game day experiences since we play in Dallas, and that's what week it is. So we know what time it is. But I was treated phenomenally in Norman, bro. I got to see you obviously on the sidelines and Chris Plank. Teddy, I didn't get a chance to catch up with you, but I'm sure our paths will cross soon again. But it definitely was a memorable experience. Hospitality was A1. Joe Castiglione came through. Joe C said what's up to myself in the booth, and he and I caught up a little bit. So, man, it was amazing atmosphere and just kind of being in that mixing environment and understanding, what it's like to be in Oklahoma Memorial Stadium. And obviously, it was a blowout, but still the level of detail and attention that the team had, and obviously the fans as well, that's what makes college football so special.
Well, tell us your impressions of the football team. What'd you see out there? I know it can be difficult, even environment wise, whenever you have that type of game against an opponent like Kent State,
hmm
but still able to see this team live in person. What'd you think?
Well, the very first thing is, and what I wanted to see with my own eyes is the defense. This is a defensive led team. Obviously, John Mateer is a special athlete and an individual himself. But whenever you talk about the Sooners, you talk about what they've been able to do from a defensive front perspective, from a linebacker, and from a depth perspective, and how they've been able to be a really active defense. And I think part of that is attributed to Brent Venables taking over the play calling. there's a different stamp on where this Oklahoma defense has been in years past versus where they are right now. And it's indicative in the number of sacks they've been able to generate against Power Four teams, against non-Power Four teams. It doesn't matter. This Oklahoma defense produces. And so being able to see that firsthand against Kent State was like, hey, okay, is this defense legit? Is it the real deal? I can confirm with my own eyes, it is absolutely the real deal. And I think obviously R. Mason Thomas gets a ton of the credit as he rightfully should. He's probably the best defensive end in the conference and in that conversation as one of the best in the country for sure. But who I came away most impressed with, and you guys probably will appreciate the name too, is David Stone. A guy that from an interior defensive line position has more production than the starters had, like on paper with TFLs and number of total tackles, and then having his opportunity to get his first start and truly be kind of the guy that got more snaps and was pivotal and impactful in the game. I think David Stone is an absolute dude, and the combination of him and R. Mason Thomas, and then the rest of the depth which we all know is indicative of what Brent Venables has been able to do. Jaden Jackson, Taylor Wine, another guy. Like you can list off the names of the guys that have created plays and generated sacks and pressures and TFLs for this team. But David Stone really left a positive impression on myself, and I think he's part of the reason why this defensive line is so good.
I know that you studied the tape before you had the call for the Kent State
Hmm.
game. I'm sure you watched the Michigan game closely,
Yep.
the Auburn game closely,
Yep.
because you want to see. Hey, we all know you knew what was happening this week.
Oh yeah.
See
Oh
what it
yeah.
looks like. Is there anything that stood out to you on the defensive side for OU where you go, okay, that is maybe not a strength, not necessarily a weakness, but hey, they've struggled a little bit with this.
Yeah, I would say Cam Coleman obviously is an elite receiver. There are not a ton of Cam Colemans in the SEC, let alone in the entire country. But what Cam Coleman was able to do was kind of showcase stretching the field. There may be some opportunities on the back end to be able to say, hey, if they don't cover it properly and you can get a good ball placement, you can stress that defense on the back end. Up front, they're not going to give you time though. That's the thing. So you got to be able to take advantage of those moments. Jackson Arnold was not able to take advantage of it, and it's probably because he was sacked 9 times and couldn't necessarily trust himself being in the pocket, or he couldn't make those throws, whichever the case may be. A lot of the plays that Cam Coleman possibly could have had a big touchdown or an opportunity to create an explosive play was either underthrown or overthrown or ended being off target. But that's probably the only weakness that I could say is if you stretch the field, maybe you can get behind them. Michigan wasn't able to do that. Now Michigan had some success with Justice Haynes running the ball with the long carry, but for the most part, he was bottled up outside of the one long run in the second half. But that might be the only place that I've seen, I guess, this Oklahoma defense would be successful. It would just be kind of in a vertical passing game, and it's more so Cam Coleman might have been the reason why, not necessarily that that's a issue ongoing that every team may try to exploit, if that makes sense.
Well, so seeing what you've seen from this defense, both in person and, reviewing the tape coming into last week's matchup, and then you look at Texas's offense, where do you think the critical battles and matchups are going to be in the football game?
Well, yeah, y'all know as well as I know, the trenches is the key to anything and the success that either team want to have. And it's kind of similar on the flip side of where Oklahoma is and some of the struggles that I've seen is that offensive line for Texas. They have to be better. Florida was able to showcase if you do not block us and if you do not have a game plan to handle twists and stunts, we will get after you. And I think this Oklahoma defense is much better than what Florida's defense is. And it's not a ton better because Florida has a really good defense. But Florida was not the all-knowing type of defensive pressure team that Oklahoma has been known for this season. Going into that game, I believe they had 3 sacks defensively against the prior 4 opponents that they faced, and they doubled that sack total against Texas a couple of days ago. And so you look at 3 sacks to 6 sacks of production, like that's a world of difference. And then you got to go face the team that's actually number one in sacks per game, that's or coming off a 5 sack performance and a 9 sack performance in the previous 2 times they stepped on the football field. That's not a recipe for success for the Texas offense. And if they want to have success, it's all depending on the offensive line. And I'm sure you guys, y'all love numbers just like me. The stats showcase it was the worst performance that Steve Sarkisian has had in an offensive line in his tenure at the University of Texas. It was so bad that there's only been one Power Four team, and that was UCLA against Utah, that had more pressures and sacks against them than what Texas had last week against Florida. Arch was literally pressured 59% of the time. Every 3 out of 5 dropbacks, he was under pressure, whether that was getting hit, whether that was getting moved off the pocket, or whether that was getting sacked. That's what he faced. And it's hard to play quarterback in any offense if you're getting hit 3 out of the 5 times or moved off of your spot, 3 out of 5 dropbacks. So that's something that Texas has to address if they stand a chance. But trying to get right this week is probably the worst time to be going up against this Sooner defense. So it starts in the trenches. Texas has to be able to run the ball if they want to have any success, and that's easier said than done against this defense. But that's what you have to commit to some form or degree in order to try to keep that defense off balance. And that's the kind of keys to success in football in general. You got to be able to run the ball, but Texas wasn't able to do that, and then Texas wasn't able to keep Arch clean in the pocket because they were so one-dimensional.
You mentioned that Texas has to run it. These last several years, we've seen a dynamic running game from the Texas offense, and Sark wants to run the ball. It's a big part of what he does, and it sets up a lot of the play action and the screen game that they get to. Foz, they just haven't been able to run it at all. Man,
At
like
all.
what have you seen? Is it all the O-line? Is it running backs not making guys miss? Are they just not as dynamic at the running back position as they've been? Like, how do you see it when it comes to the issues running the football for the Longhorns?
I think it's a combination of both of the things that you mentioned, and obviously the injuries to C.J. Baxter and Trey Wisner, both of those guys being out at the same time in one game, and then obviously only one being available or the other being available. The only time that this team has had a kind of good semblance of a run game was actually week one, ironically, against Ohio State's defense. Texas was able to stay kind of on schedule whenever they ran the ball on first and second down. It wasn't super impressive. Don't get me wrong. They wasn't ripping off 200 yards rushing, or they wasn't hitting 40-yard explosive types of runs, but it was efficient for what Steve Sarkisian was trying to do offensively. It just wasn't there from the production on the receiving and the passing game against Ohio State. But that was the last time that Texas had kind of a running game that benefited the offense and was a bonus for them to lean on whenever they kind of needed to. And that was more so running vertically downhill rather than stretching sideways was that success. Now, part of that came with C.J. Baxter being the main lead back in that game. And him getting downhill is kind of the mindset that Steve Sarkisian wants to implement, with him being a bigger guy at 230 pounds. Like, hey, let's get him moving, use that momentum to his help and to aid him, and then have the linemen be more vertical in their run game, have thicker double teams, and then working their way up to the backer was kind of what I saw from that. Once CJ Baxter goes down, you started to see more of the wide zone approach from shotgun and trying to move laterally and horizontally rather than stretching it vertically and trying to pierce through the defense. And whether they was playing San Jose State or whether they was playing UTEP or whether they was playing Ohio State or Florida just last week, the semblance of getting downhill and being thicker and keeping hats on hats. That's kind of been non-existent for this Texas offense. So I think they kind of got to get back to getting more downhill and using a gap scheme if they got to get to that, using duo more to their advantage to get to that, and maybe have thicker and solid double teams. But I don't think running sideways against this defensive front lends itself to have huge success consistently for them to maintain ahead of the chains if they're trying to do that on first and second down.
Yeah. Well, one of the big topics in college football this year has been Arch Manning and his performance. Now, I think most people, not everyone, but most people would agree. Well, the Florida performance, I mean, it's hard to pin much of that on Arch. You already threw the statistics out there, how much pressure he was under. No quarterback can play well under those circumstances. But leading into it, what have you seen from him? What are his strengths and weaknesses, and what do you expect as the season rolls on?
I expect him to continue to get more comfortable. He's having some of those first year starter types of issues where he's hanging on to the ball in one instance a little too long, and in other instances, he's getting rid of it too fast, and the play hasn't necessarily developed itself. And then the other one that was shocking that I didn't expect, and I was on the call for the game against UTEP, was his inaccuracy, the ability to not complete some of the shorter passes, whether it was a hitch route, whether it was a check down to the running back, or even the 10-yard digs. He was extremely inaccurate, and that was a small sample size in that game where he was super inaccurate. But it turned into a big sample size because we saw it play out in Ohio State. We saw it play out against Florida, where he was trying to throw a dig to Emmett Mosley. It was in front and above Emmett Mosley's head, where he couldn't even make a play. The defender is able to just catch it. They're sitting in quarters. Middle of the field is wide open, sitting in a quarters look, and he overthrows it and turns into a turnover. And so those have been kind of a little more baffling to me. It was how inaccurate he's been from a consistency standpoint. And it makes the offense whenever they're trying to move the ball against power four opponents, it looks hard. Like trying to get yards looks hard. And coming from Quinn Ewers, obviously last year, you could see Quinn, he could slice through a lot of defenses so easily. And I think a lot of that had to do with his familiarity and comfortability in Arch and Sark's offense. And being able to see Arch trying to go through some of those struggling growing pains that Quinn went through as a first year starter as well, like that's where you start to see, okay, this thing is going to take a little bit more time. And Sark said it in the offseason. It was like, hey, he hadn't done nothing yet. He can't be crowned this golden boy quite yet. You got to go out on the field and prove it. And I think that was indicative to Sark knowing some of the shortcomings of having a young, inexperienced quarterback try to figure it out as the game goes on. I don't think he expected Arch to struggle as bad as he's had, as Arch has struggled in the way that he has from an accuracy perspective. But growing pains probably were expected by this offense, and I think that's what they're trying to work through now. But it's going to be hard. Like if I was a quarterback, I would not want to see Oklahoma's defense as my, hey, we got to get the offensive line back right, and we got to try to figure out what our identity is. That's the probably hardest task ever, to be able to say this is the game we got to try to get back right on it. So I expect more growing pains to show in Arch Manning's game, but it's all learning calls and learning opportunities for him to hopefully develop and become a better quarterback when it's all said and done from a career perspective versus, expecting him to be perfect or expecting him to perform like a Vince Young in his last year in college or a Colt McCoy in his last year in college. I think those are unrealistic expectations at this point.
You mentioned all the pressure Arch Manning was under against Florida. The running game hasn't been efficient. It hasn't got going. And now you're about to play the best defense you've played all season long. Like, what do you think are some of the things that Sark will do to try to help Arch Manning out in this game, knowing that The pressure is coming from
Yeah.
Brent Venables.
Yeah, I think the first thing is implementing more screens. Now, where Ron Roberts, the defense coordinator for Florida, was really good at was understanding when Sark typically likes to run screens and calling a defense that lent itself to be advantageous in those screen types of plays. And I can vividly remember two screens. One, a tight end screen that they tried to run in the middle of the field with Jack injuries, almost got his head knocked off because the defensive line was able to play so well with filling the screen, knowing the situation, backside linebacker, expecting it, and then going and attacking. And then another instance where coach calls a cross running back screen. Trey Wisner's on the left hand side of Arch. He rolls to the right trying to get Trey Wisner in open space. And it was a perfect call against the defense, man-to-man coverage. You had DeAndre Moore come in motion and try to pick the backside linebacker, but the linebacker was expecting it. He had prepared for this moment. As soon as Trey Wisner crossed the field, he knew it was screen, so he undercut everybody and literally disrupted the play just by knowing situational football. Now, at the same time, if it was maybe a cover four look or a cover two look, maybe those screens have a little bit more space to be able to get off, and you get a little bit more space to work offensively, and you have some opportunity to be in second down or third and manageable because you pick up maybe 6, 7 yards, or you hope it's as explosive, but realistically, you just hope to get positive yardage that sets you up for the next play call to be successful. So, with an aggressive type of front that Oklahoma possesses, I would expect to see more utilization in the screen game, and whether that's a quick screen right now with a now route to the receiver, and you got one receiver at the point blocking the point defender, and then the backside receiver just got to make a one-on-one miss. That'll be an extension of the run game. Whether you see an outside chip screen by the running back where he acts like he's going to chip help on the defensive end and then releases and tries to get a little bit more separation from the defenders, the linebacker or the safety that may be covering that area. I expect that to be utilized. And that's something that I think they have to utilize in order to try to neutralize how aggressive and how good this defensive line is.
How about the flip side? Again, you got a good chance to watch and detail a bunch of the film of Oklahoma's offense coming into Kent State, but no John Mateer. You got to see Mike Hawkins.
Mhm.
Um, how is the offense different when the two guys are at the helm, as you see it?
Yeah, number one, John Mateer is a freaking phenomenal stud, dog. He is unbelievable. Like the way he's able to throw the ball, I go back and look at the Auburn and the Michigan game as two perfect examples. Whatever you needed, he could get it. Like if you needed him to run for 12 yards for a first down, he would go give you 13 and then some. If you needed him to complete a pass on the dime, on the money for 26 yards, like he could do that. And I think that's the differing I guess the separating factor between John Mateer and literally almost every other quarterback that we've seen so far. But obviously, Mike Hawkins Jr. still learning his role of where he's at and getting comfortable and understanding what John Mateer does so well, and then incorporating that into his game. It's just a different beast. John Mateer is so accurate. He has the arm strength. He has the arm slot angles, like all the things that you talk about being a potential superstar at the quarterback position. That's what John Mateer is, and rightfully so. He's been able to put that on display everywhere he's been, whether that was Washington State or now here at Oklahoma. That's who he is, and so to see how he ran the offense, at least on film, versus seeing Michael Hawkins do it against Kent State, it wasn't as easy. It didn't feel as smooth. And although 44 points were put up, it had to settle for quite a few field goals in that first half, more than I kind of anticipated. And it was, I think, more so benefited to, I didn't see the run game success that I expected to see against Kent State. And part of that is, I think, this Oklahoma's offense trying to find their identity running the game. John Mateer has been the focal point of being able to start the run game, get the run game incorporated, and be that catalyst in the run game to open up spots for Jaden Odd and open up spots for Torrey Blaylock, who I think is going to be extremely dynamic player, and already is for you all as a true freshman. But I didn't see kind of that consistent presence in the run game in the way that I would have liked from an explosive standpoint against Kent State. And I think part of that has to do with the shuffling of the offensive line. So many different combinations of starters have had to play, whether it was due to injury, whether it was due to play, whatever the case may be. I think there's still some room to grow from a consistency and chemistry standpoint between the starting five, and then implementing that to be utilized for the running backs to have success outside of the quarterback run game, which has been successful and part of what Michael Hawkins Jr. and John Mateer do so well. Kennick also is the freaking reason why this machine runs as well as it does. Is his story is I think one of the most incredible ones in college football after what he's been able to showcase as a linebacker and coming in and leading the nation and receiving yardage for a tight end. Like, you don't ever see that storyline. Like, dude was leading tackles like just a couple of years ago, and last year was in the mix, like was a true starter and role player for the defense, and now he's leading the country in receiving yards at tight end. So I think he's the catalyst that makes this offense go. Isaiah Satania is a really talented individual, and that's probably, in my opinion, the second best offseason portal addition behind John Mateer that this offense has seen. His explosive ability in the return game, I think, is an added bonus as well. But yeah, whenever you have John Mateer out there, it moves in the way that the offense is supposed to move because of how impactful he is on those off-schedule plays and how accurate he is, whether he's in the pocket or outside of the pocket. He can still make you play. He can still make you pay. I haven't seen that so far from Michael Hawkins Jr. on a consistent basis. He showcases and he can flash, and we saw some of that last year whenever he had his opportunities, but it's not as consistent as I've seen with John Mateer so far in the first half of the season.
You mentioned it earlier. This thing's going to be won in the trenches. When you look at the OU offensive line that you just watched in person against the Texas defensive line, maybe the core of that Texas defense, you include those inside backers, LaFau and Anthony Hill Jr. Like, who do you think has the advantage in this game?
You know, before the game Saturday, where Texas got just completely destroyed by Florida, I would have said Texas undoubtedly. Now, Steve Sarkisian in his press conference mentioned some of the reason why they were getting gashed in the run game was trying to protect their young corner by playing a little bit more too high shell since Manny Muhammad was not available. And you're starting a new corner, Kobe Black, which hasn't played significant starting reps. And he kind of got exposed by what Dallas Wilson and Vernell Brown III wanted to do. And so Sark, trying to protect him, played more too high coverage. If Manny Muhammad's back, which all signs kind of indicate to that, you're going to see more of an eight-man box or an eight-man front and more run type of situations, which leads to success for Texas stopping the run, which they had done very well until they played Florida. And so I kind of lean on Texas taking the edge in that front just because of having that additional body or safety in the box, whether it's Jelani McDonald or Michael Taft. That creates just a little bit more confusion and another gap that has to be covered. But I've seen Texas at its best whenever they can do that. Whenever they can't do that, and if you got to go with that too high shell, then that's where they suffer, and that's where Florida was able to really feast on in the running game, getting Jaden Ball involved and going over 100 yards. That's where they struggle at. So I expect Texas to be better in that front, and I would probably give the slight edge to Texas on the trenches, on the line of trenches, just because of having Manny Muhammad really affects everything on the back end.
You know this game well, played in it, watched a bunch of them. What are some of the other factors? You know, we've talked about the offensive defense, and you mentioned some special team stuff with Satania, but just kind of knowing what this environment brings, what are some of the intangibles, I guess, in this matchup that you're looking at?
Yeah, the cliche answer probably would be turnovers, right? And all coach talk about you got to take care of the football, you got to create turnovers. But for me,
I thought you were going to say special teams just so you
oh
could
yeah,
bring
especially
up
right,
just so you
right.
could bring up that you returned a kick for a touchdown in this game.
Man,
Okay, we get it.
that's so long ago. I never
Hey,
really
that
bring
was
that
the
up
only
because we got
good thing that
smoked.
happened for y'all in that
Absolutely.
game.
So I
Only good
almost
thing.
never bring that up because we lost 55-17. Like I said, I stopped counting after 40 points. Like we lost so bad. So I almost never bring that up just because it was like, well, it really was in vain because we had nothing else to show for it. But I was going to
I
say the
apologize
cliche
for
is
nothing, Fozzy.
I understand. I understand. Rub it in my face. That's okay. I can live. I've still survived. I guess what 12 years later, since that has transpired. But the ability to answer momentum is the intangible aspect that ever since I've seen this game, ever since I've played in this game, and after I've played watching it every single year, the team that can respond is the team that usually goes on to win, right? And whether that's a turnover and you're able to get a touchdown off of that turnover, what do you do right after that? Or whether it's a kick return that's taken to the house, what do you respond with right after that? And momentum is such a huge factor in this game because you all know it as well as I know it. It's like it's 50-50 can change and it can sound like 75-25 in a heartbeat off of one play. And how you respond after that, can you flip it back to 50-50? And then can you turn 25 into 75 to go to your way to be able to feel supported in that moment? How many times can you do that? And I think being able to answer off of momentum and answer off of a score or a takeaway or a punt or off of a field goal attempt, whatever the case may be, that's the intangible that you have to have if you want to win. And I think that's going to be probably even more important in this game where I believe both defenses are kind of the calling card in the face of where this matchup will be won and lost. You got to be able to respond in times. I feel like Texas will create a turnover. I feel like Oklahoma will create a turnover. Who responds off of that turnover the best or the most consistent is the team that I feel like has a chance to win it in the fourth quarter. And that's kind of how I've seen this game go over the past kind of decade of like, hey, who's able to thrive off of that and answer? And that's what makes this rivalry game so great and so fun is kind of the ups and downs of how the game plays out and how that affects everything and just the amount of passion and detail that's going to be taken into this game, I think all creates that intangible feeling of how to get an edge and what keys to success can help you win at the end.
Now, can you give us a score prediction? Are you one of these hot shot announcers now? You're so
I'm not a
important
hot
that you
shot.
can't predict
I'm
scores.
not a hot
Oh,
shot.
I'm
Only
Switzerland.
if
I'm neutral.
Only if I was calling the game, I couldn't give a score prediction, but I ain't calling the game, so I'm good. I got Arkansas, Tennessee on my
Ooh,
podcast as well. Third and Longhorn. I'm with the guys Rod Baber, Derek Johnson, Jeremy Hills, and Alex Okafor. I went out on a limb, and my score prediction is Oklahoma wins in a defensive showdown, 20-17. So
ooh.
I'm on record already saying it. I got to double down on it, right? What type of person would I be if I didn't double down on it? But I think John Mateer plays. I think that plays a factor into the offensive kind of identity and where this offense and this entire team will be. I think it's a low scoring affair. I believe the under and over number is 42 and a half. I think it's more of a defensive showdown from these two teams. As you can see, my total is at 37. But I just think with Texas having issues offensively up front and connecting with the receivers on a consistent basis, Florida's defense showcase some of the inept ability for Texas to take advantage of. And I think Oklahoma's defense is better than Florida's defense, and trying to figure out the issues that they have up front for Texas's offensive linemen does not get solved by playing people that are better than you just previously saw. So I think that's the ultimate deciding factor, and why I chose Oklahoma to win 20-17.
Well, you said you think Mateer's going to play. How much does that factor into your prediction? What if he doesn't play, or what if he does play and he's not that guy you saw that is
Right.
can get you what you need in those moments?
Man, it's still tricky. Maybe it goes into overtime. Hell, at 17, who knows?
Yeah,
That
yeah.
could be a thing. I still expect it to be close, whether it's Michael Hawkins Jr. or whether it's John Mateer. And I really feel that way because of how strong the defense has played for Oklahoma. And I think that's a testament. Like I said, Brent Venables calling the plays, the defense looks different, like vastly different. And they're number one in third downs. If we want to go statistically speaking, only allowing, I want to say it's 17% on third down conversions. Texas is 115th, I believe, in offensive third down conversions. Last week, perfect example of kind of going against the trend. Texas was 3 of 11 on third downs against Florida. Florida offensively was 7 of 14. They were able to convert on 50% of their third downs, which was uncharacteristic of a Texas defense, but that's because the complementary football aspect of Texas was non-existent, right? They couldn't run the rock. They couldn't convert on third downs. They had to punt. So the defense was out there for a long time. A lot of plays, a lot of snaps, a lot of time, and you get a punt block. So from a complementary standpoint, Texas lost in all three phases, which was the reason why they lost the game at the end of the day. I just think third downs are critical in the success for any team. Obviously, we know that the more you can convert, the better opportunity you have to put points on the board. And obviously, points is the name of the game. I just think Oklahoma is too powerful on converting or getting teams off the field on third down. And Texas has struggled too many times trying to convert on third down for me to really say, hey, that was just a one-time outing. No, that's who Texas has been against Ohio State, against San Jose State, against UTEP. Sam Houston State is the outlier. But that Texas has showcased they are not a really good, efficient third down team offensively. And I think that matchup bodes well for Oklahoma. And it still would be a close game with Michael Hawkins Jr. or John Mateer.
Foz, you're the man. Thanks for the time, buddy.
Absolutely, fellas. I appreciate y'all having me on, man. Enjoy the game. Make sure y'all eat a funnel cake for your boy because I won't be able to make it to Dallas in time.
I got you, bro. I hope, and you know I love you. You know I do. I hope you're sad on Saturday night, man.
You better not let Texas win because I'm calling you up as
Oh,
soon as
I
it's
don't.
over, too, though.
Okay. All right. You're the man, Foz. Appreciate you.
Absolutely, man. Appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good one.
For all of us Sooners, there comes a time when we need help. We need someone to fight for us, and that Sooner is Jeff Marr at the Marr Law Firm. If you are battling cancer or any other life-threatening condition and your insurance carrier is either slow playing or outright denying your treatment, use the law to get the medical care you need. Marr Law Firm believes you shouldn't have to fight your insurance company while also fighting for your life. Go to see Jeff Marr at the Marr Law Firm. They turn victims of insurance bad faith into champions. And three things matter in banking: service, service, and service. And First Fidelity Bank's commitment to exceptional service is more than a promise. It's their foundation. FFB has been by your side for over a century, and they are honored to be a part of your journey. Banking isn't about where you've been, it's about where you are headed. Open an account at an award-winning bank today at ffb.com. At First Fidelity Bank, we go where you go.
Bishop McGuinness Catholic High School represents a tradition of educational excellence in Oklahoma City. Grounded in a faith-based education, Bishop McGuinness offers a college prep curriculum that includes 26 AP courses, participation in OSSAA athletics, and numerous clubs and organizations for students to join and grow. If you want to provide the best possible educational and spiritual development for your children, contact Bishop McGuinness Catholic High School or visit bmchs.org. Financial aid is available.
And go to opolisclothing.com and use promo code TED for 10% off our podcast merchandise and the best OU gear out there. That's opolisclothing.com and use promo code TED. Buttery soft and 10% off. All right, time to preview the best games of week 7 of college football. And let's start in Como. Number 8, Alabama travels to take on number 14, Missouri. This is an 11 a.m.er on ABC. Currently, Alabama is a 2.5-point road favorite, Ted. And other than OU Texas, this is the most excited about any other game that I am, man. Like that, I think this is going to be a tremendous football game. We've got two of the most entertaining quarterbacks in the sport in Ty Simpson and Bo Pribula. Two really good football teams, two teams that I think are college football playoff caliber teams. I cannot wait to watch this one, dude.
Yeah, they haven't been tested a whole heck of a lot, but I think Missouri's one of the most underrated teams out there. They're running the football almost 300 yards a game. They got maybe the best running back in college football. You talked about their quarterback. That's a playmaker. Number 1 run stopping defense in the SEC, maybe in college football. Like they are a very good, well-balanced football team. And it helps to be at home when you're playing Alabama.
No doubt about it. Their defense has been really good. They also haven't played anyone very good.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to find out a lot about that group. But when you look at them and you look at the way that they play, especially in the core of that defense, like in that front 7, that front 6, it looks the way it's supposed to look, man.
Yeah.
And I think that secondary, we're going to find out, like, hey, does Missouri have the secondary?
Here it comes. Yeah, that's Alabama's passing attack right now, one of the best in college football.
I don't think they're bad in the secondary. I just don't think they're as good as in the secondary as Missouri is along the defensive line and at linebacker. Like, I really like how that core of their defense plays. Violent, physical, fun to watch. But Ty Simpson may be the best passer in college football.
He's ripping it right now. And they move him around, move him out of the pocket. He creates with his legs for some extra time. And they got guys running through your secondary that will go make a play.
Bernard, Williams, Horton. I think Cuevas at tight end does some good things for the Tide as well. But that clearly will be a huge piece of this game. And on the other side of things, Bo Pribula against this Alabama defense, I cannot wait, man. I know that everyone's going to be focused on Ahmad Hardy and the run game, and rightfully so. That dude is awesome. But I think this is the game where we find out, is he like a top-tier quarterback in college football? He's going to have to make some big-time throws in some key situations in this game, and we'll see if he can do it or not.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that the first goal for Alabama is to try and stop that run, that outside zone. And if you can accomplish that, now you got to keep Pribula from running around, creating, beating you with his legs on 3rd and long. And, they'll push the ball downfield as well. And he's a playmaker. He's going to buy time, play some backyard football on you. But it all starts to me with that run game, man. Like that's going to be the football game.
Bama's defense has not been great against the run. In a perfect world, like for Missouri's offense, this is how it goes. Outside zone plays rolling. Some QB run game with Pribula's rolling. We build some play action and take some shots off the outside zone stuff.
Yep.
Let it fly. See if we can catch those Bama safeties with their eyes in the backfield, or really, really antsy to come up and play that run. I mean, that's the perfect formula for Mizzou in this game.
It is, and it's the perfect stylistically, this is not the type of game that Alabama wants to play. I think they want to play a shootout type of game. They are in my opinion, a passing offense. Alabama is. And passing offenses, especially on the road, operate on rhythm. They need to keep the chains moving. They need to, keep the crowd out of it, limit third and longs, just keep doing their thing. But that run game from Missouri, it's hard to get in rhythm if you're standing on the sideline for a long time and then you go out and you get stuffed on first down, overthrow a play action on second, you're in third and long, and they force you to punt. You're right back over on the sideline, and here comes that run game again for Missouri possessing the football. I think it's a dangerous game stylistically for Alabama.
Their run game with Jam Miller looked, with him back on the field against Vandy, it looked better for sure. But
Yep.
the play action stuff that Ty Simpson is so good at, it's super effective when the run game's cooking.
Yep.
So I'm with you, man. I think Missouri, they're going to try to load up and make sure that the run game doesn't get going, but it's hard to say that when you've got the receivers that Bama's got. They're going to have to find a balance there defensively. I think I think Alabama caught a break here with the 11 a.m. kick.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
I think you would agree Missouri was the best road atmosphere we went to last year. And we went to Auburn, we went to LSU, we went to Ole Miss.
It's pretty good. Yeah, I mean that just like anywhere else, Alabama comes to town, that place is going to be hopping, especially they're undefeated. Yeah, that it's going to be a hostile environment, and the 11 a.m. kick definitely is better for Alabama.
What do you think? I think it's clear Alabama's playing really good ball. They have somehow, some way, like put that opener behind them, and they're rolling, especially offensively. But in my personal experience, definitely factors in here. I've been on a team that was number one in the country and went to Missouri and got beat. That was forever ago. I understand that. But I think this Missouri team, I think they've got a balanced team that's really good on both sides of the football. And I think that fan base is going to show up in a big way, and that's going to be a really tough place to play, even at 11 a.m. I'll take Missouri plus 2.5, and I think they are very much capable of winning this game if Bo Perbula makes some big-time throws. And this is also playing a big factor in me taking Missouri. Alabama has played Georgia and Vandy like in two back-to-back taxing, physical games. And Missouri is coming off a bye and has had 2 weeks to get ready for this one.
Still haven't played a game outside of Missouri, right? They haven't had to travel. Like they are, that is a fresh football team right now. And I'm with you. I'm taking Missouri in the 2.5, and I think I pick them to win the game too. I think it's going to be low scoring, tough. There's going to be a handful of big plays in this game that tell the story, I think.
We both like Missouri. Do we like them enough to make it one of our battle bets?
Yeah.
If you're out there going, what is a battle bet? This is the perfect time to explain our new partnership and this competition that we've created for all our listeners. We have partnered with Battle Bets. So go to battlebets.app/OKBreakdown to join our league. Here's how all of this works. Each week you get $3,500 of fake money to place fake bets on college football. You bet some on spreads, some on over-unders, money lines, props. And you're going to compete against us and all the other listeners that join the league. So it's kind of like fantasy football league or like a March Madness pool. But here's the best part. Our friends at BattleBets, they're giving away $250 of real money to weekly winners, and they're giving $500 of real money to the leader of the league at the end of week 11 of college football. So this is a month-long competition. So yes, you heard this correctly. You join a free league, you download a free app, you make fake money bets, and you can win real money. Doesn't get better than that, Ted.
Sounds like the best deal I've ever heard.
battlebets.app/OKBreakdown to download the free app and join our league. And this is going to be awesome. And it's free. So do it. I set mine up. I got my fake bets in last night, baby. I'm ready to roll.
Totally plan on winning the league.
Oh, no. You can't win the league because I'm going to win the league.
It's going to be
You can't.
fun.
We both can't win. Or maybe we could tie. I don't know if there's a tie situation in there. But yes, battlebets.app/OKBreakdown. I think this is going to be a lot of fun
I agree.
for our listeners.
I'm looking forward to it.
All right, let's move on to the next big game of Week 7 of college football. Number 7, Indiana travels to Eugene to take on number 3, Oregon. This will be your 2:30 CBS game. And Oregon is currently a 7.5-point favorite at home. Ted, both teams coming off a bye, so they are rested. And we're about to find out if Indiana's for real or not.
Yep.
Autzen is considered one of the toughest places to play in college football. I assume that place will be breathing fire for this game. This should be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Indiana has, last year they were great, beat everyone that they should, lost a couple of big games. They've showed up this year and said, that's not a one-time thing. That's not a fluke. That this program's going to be good. And I think they're better than they were last year. I'm not sure that I'm not there yet that I can pick them to go on the road and beat who I think is one of the top 3 teams in the country. Well balanced, playmakers on both sides of the ball, at home, traveling across the country. I'm taking Oregon. I know it's 7.5, but I'm very, very curious with Indiana. And if they can keep this one close, be right there, have a chance to win it late, I think I'll be a buyer with Indiana that, okay, they're for real. They went on the road and stood toe to toe with one of the best football teams in the country. Yeah, this team is legit.
The QB matchup in this game is going to have a lot of NFL personnel watching it. I think there are a lot of people that think Dante Moore or Fernando Mendoza can be QB1 in the next draft.
Mendoza is probably one of the best unknowns in college football with how good he's played. And this is a big opportunity for him to get right in the conversation, not just with the people that follow the sport every day like he is now, but with the general college football public.
Dude, if Indiana wins this game, do you realize the shakeup that will take place in the college football discourse?
Wild.
I mean, people will be questioning Lanning when it comes to the big game stuff. And that Oregon win over Penn State not looking the same, not hitting the same exactly this week as it did last week.
No doubt. A lot of truth to that.
But if Indiana wins it, Cignetti he's right in the conversation for best coach in the sport. Fernando Mendoza, we mentioned it. Hey, number 1 QB off the board, possibly. Heisman Trophy conversation starts if they win this game. Didn't you start talking about, hey, is Indiana the best team in the Big Ten?
Yeah.
That's a conversation that takes place if Indiana finds a way to go and win this game. But I just don't know if they're going to be able to match Oregon's explosiveness offensively.
I agree. It is nice, though, to be able to be, a top 10 team and really all the pressure is on your opponent. Indiana still has that. They've got the number next to them, but it's still Indiana. And to me, the pressure firmly on Oregon's side in this one. And I think that's a big benefit to be able to go say, no one believes in you. No one thinks you should be here. Just go cut it loose and have fun and, play like you want to. And we'll see. I'm taking Oregon, but this is a big moment. I want to jump on board with Indiana, but these are the games that they're going to roll through the Minnesotas, the Rutgers, the We know that. But if you really want to take that next step, this is the opportunity.
Give me Oregon minus 7.5.
Yep.
I just kind of feel like Indiana's walking into a buzzsaw here. Oregon at its best at home, I think it's just too much for Indiana, even though Surratt and Cooper, like those receivers, they've got some big play guys. I know everyone wants to talk about the RPO stuff and the efficiency of Mendoza, but like they've got some big play guys if they need those. But Lanning is going to have some ridiculous motivational tactic. He's going to take everything Cignetti's ever said and make it into one giant clip that's going to get the team going. I think Indiana's a really good football team. I think they're leaving Eugene with like a 10-point loss. So yeah, I'll lay the 7.5 with Oregon.
I'm with you. Careful landing. You're going to have a camera on you the entire time you're out there. So let's rein it in a little bit.
Well, I think the locker room is where.
Well, I'm just saying, like, everyone's going to be searching for clues in his movement.
A glass table inside is probably the most likely option here. No, people are going to continue to keep an eye on his mannerisms there on the sideline.
That's right. That's right.
All right, our last game. Florida at number 5 Texas A&M. This will be 6 p.m. on ESPN, and A&M is currently a 7.5-point favorite there at Kyle Field. But Florida bringing some momentum into this game. Ted, after the win over Texas, that Florida offense showed life. That was DJ Lagway's best game of the season by far. Their offensive line played their best game of the season by far. Jaden Ball is a dude at running back. But Texas A&M is starting to put together a nice body of work, man, and they're coming off a really solid win over Mississippi State. They got to have a lot of confidence coming into the game. Kyle Field is a big home field advantage. I think this is going to be a lower scoring game. I think we go back to seeing what I think Florida is, and that's a average SEC team. I don't have faith that Florida's figured out all of their problems.
I don't either. I think A&M wins the football game, but I don't think they cover I think 7.5 is too much.
I'm with you.
This field goal game, in my mind, low scoring. A&M is really good, but their offense is, it's not a high functioning, high powered offense. Their defense is legit. And I think Florida's defense is underrated. They've done a really good job this year, did a great job against LSU. They've kept them in all of their games, did a great job against Texas. And I think that's going to continue. They're going to keep it low scoring. And I think Lagway's improving after all the missed time he had through the offseason. The more seat time he gets, the better. They got their skill guys back. I think this is like a 17-14, 2017 type of football game. I slight edge, in my opinion, to A&M, but they're not. I don't think they cover the 7.5.
Yeah, I'm with you. I see it as like a 21-17, 24-17 type of game. So I'll take the 7.5 with Florida as well. Mississippi State couldn't block A&M's defensive line. It was hard to watch, honestly.
Yep.
Shapen was under duress. I think Florida and that O-line, they'll be able to hold up much better. But I'm just going to have to see DJ Lagway, even with Dallas Wilson back, like I'm going to have to see him string together a couple nice performances to be like, hey, watch out for Florida.
Right. Yep. I agree. I mean, I still say that Florida's record is a benefit for them. Now, beating Texas changes some things, but that everyone still sees those losses and feels like it's the same Florida team that you saw right out of the gate. And are they going to be a super, like a top tier SEC team? I don't think so, but they have the capability to play like that in stretches. We'll see if they can get hot here, but give me Florida in the points. A&M to win the game.
I'm with you. I don't think Florida's defense will have close to the level of success at the point of attack that they had against Texas. We talked about it earlier. Like Texas offensive line situation is not good.
Yeah.
Right now. This Florida defense is going from playing one of the worst O-lines in the SEC to playing arguably the best in A&M. So I'm pretty excited to watch that battle at the point of attack. I think it comes down to Marcel Reed and his decision-making in the passing game. If he just takes what's there, what they're giving to him, I think A&M will be fine. I think they'll win the game. But I'll be surprised if this isn't a close game in the fourth quarter.
Yep. I think the turnover stat's going to tell the story in this one. I think it's going to be really close, and whoever wins the turnover battle, field position battle, probably going to be a little easier to score and gives them a huge advantage.
All right, let's finish up with our winners and losers of the week. But first, the Ridge Power Bank has changed my life. Before I got mine, when I traveled, so many chargers and so many cords with all the chargers. Well, those days are over for me because just like Ridge revolutionized the wallet, Ridge has now changed the game for portable charging. Go to ridge.com and use code OKBreakdown for 10% off on a Ridge Power Bank. Ridge's 5-in-1 travel power bank has built-in cables, and it lets you charge all your devices at the same time with one power bank and no extra cables. MagSafe Wireless, Apple Watch, Lightning, USB-C, it's got it all. And like everything Ridge makes, it's built to last. With free shipping, a 99-day risk-free trial, and a lifetime warranty. This is the last power bank you'll ever need. One thing to pack, 5 ways to power. You can find Ridge's power bank at Best Buy, or our listeners can get 10% off at ridge.com by using code OKBreakdown at checkout. Just head to ridge.com and use code OKBreakdown, and you're all set. After you purchase, they will ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. If you're looking for tickets to OU's next game, SeatGeek is where y'all need to go. SeatGeek is the official ticket marketplace of the Oklahoma Sooners. So all Sooners tickets on SeatGeek are authentic and secure, and every ticket is backed by their buyer guarantee. So go to SeatGeek.com or download the SeatGeek app and use our code BREAKDOWN10 for 10% off any tickets. With over 35 million downloads, SeatGeek is the #1 rated ticketing app. There are more than 70,000 events listed on SeatGeek, including concerts, sports festivals, and more. The app is extremely easy to use, and SeatGeek has your back. Each ticket is rated on a scale of 1 to 10, so you know you're getting a good deal. So look for the green dots. Green means good, red means bad. And remember, you can use code BREAKDOWN10 for 10% off your next set of tickets at SeatGeek. That's 10% off any tickets with promo code BREAKDOWN10. Make sure you click the link in the description to download the app and have the code automatically added to your account so you can use it later. Thanks, SeatGeek. As always, Ted, kicks off. Who do you have as your winner of the week?
I got to go with the New York Yankees. That was a fun game last night. Came from behind at home. Get that series back to where they got a chance to compete. They were on the line there. And then how awesome was that home run from Aaron Judge?
So good. And I love playoff baseball. It's the only Major League Baseball I watch all year long. I don't have a team that I root for. So I am just a neutral observer on the couch. And that was an awesome moment. Because I don't hate the Yankees. I don't like the Yankees. I have no feelings about the New York Yankees. As a neutral observer, that's the stuff, man. It felt the Yankees felt like they were dead. What were they down? 5 runs?
I think it was 6. Was it 6? 6-3.
No. When he hit the home run, it was 6-3. They were down.
Yeah.
Was it 6-1?
6-1. They got 2 in the bottom of the 3rd, and then Judge's home run in the bottom of the 4th.
They felt dead.
Yep.
Especially with how the 2 games in Toronto went. And for Aaron Judge, who has been phenomenal for that franchise, to have that moment was really cool. And when it hit that foul pole, that place went insane.
Yeah, that's one of the coolest things in baseball. Whenever you smash one off the foul pole, stand there and watch it, the whole crowd's leaning. Yeah, that was pretty cool. And really good pitching and some good defensive plays late to ice that one. That was fun. Playoff baseball's doing good so far this year. I'm having fun with it.
Yankees bullpen nails. I mean,
Yeah,
that was a
yeah,
bullpen game, and I know that that's become a bigger deal in baseball with all the specialists and all that stuff. But for those guys to string together that many innings was what they have to get like 20 outs. Like it was all bullpen, man. But to be down five at home with the way that those two games in Toronto went, it just that's one of those that makes you think, okay, could that be the moment that fuels them to a special run here? I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. But that was an incredible moment when that thing hit off that foul pole.
very cool. Yep, that's playoff baseball, and it's been fun watching the Yankees. Well, all the environments. I mean, Toronto's field and uh, that home run that Guerrero Jr. hit the other night was awesome. That place has been crazy, but it's awesome to see when the Yankees win at home and they show the crowd, they're all hugging, and it's a lot of fun. It's been great.
Who do you have as your loser of the week?
Mark Sanchez,
Wow.
what a weird deal. I mean, everyone's heard about it by now. Got stabbed and is getting charged with some pretty serious stuff, facing some serious prison time. And I don't know how you get to the point where you're uh trying to tell a grease pit truck that they can't park there in the alley and empty the grease bin at the hotel you're staying at, or I assume he was staying there. What a strange situation.
It is it's one of those stories where as more information keeps coming out, it keeps getting weirder and weirder.
Yeah.
Because originally it was Mark
got robbed.
Sanchez has been stabbed in downtown Indianapolis. You've got Indianapolis officials coming out and say, we can't have this happen in our city. And then it was like, he did what now?
Right. Yeah.
Oh,
It's
he
crazy.
he assaulted the guy. The guy defended himself. He did what now?
And that guy was beat up, man. He was old
Yeah.
man, beat up pretty bad.
What? What
I
was
don't
he
know.
on?
I have no idea.
I
Something. Either he was on something or there's some mental issues going on because the whole situation makes absolutely no sense. No clue what he was doing. I mean, you look at the whole thing and somehow you say he's lucky in this deal, that he's not dead. Got stabbed. Guy tried to spray him with mace and that didn't work. So he grabbed the knife. I mean, just wild. Bad deal
what's
for Sanchez.
what state of mind are you in if pepper spray doesn't work on you? I
I don't know.
I really like him as an announcer. He does a good
Yeah,
job.
I agree.
And this is a bad deal, man. He's getting sued. Fox is getting sued. Like
He's
clearly
getting
this is
sued.
a
He's
life-altering mistake.
Yeah, for sure. We'll see what happens with you know his job with the whole deal, but he's got bigger problems right now. Fix the stab wound. You've been in the hospital, facing jail time, and now has to put up with a whole new round of butt fumble attention. You feel like you finally got past it, but here it comes roaring back.
Trevor Lawrence falls down twice. And all everyone wants to talk about is butt fumble. How's it compared to the butt fumble? Now, it was a game-winning play, so very different. But then it gets back to, hey, did you hear what Mark Sanchez just did?
It's crazy, crazy. I just,
I don't
I,
really
I
know what to say about it, man. It's like clearly but the details that have been reported, it looks like it's all his fault.
yeah, yeah, 100%.
So I it's hard to have any sympathy for the guy. It's one of those where you go, dude, what were you doing? Like That's wild.
No idea. I'm very wild that he picked the grease truck to go get into some weird battle with.
With an
I don't know.
elderly man.
Yeah,
The guy's like 70 years old.
yeah.
What? I, what?
What? I got nothing else. I don't know. Obviously follow along with it and see what's develops from it, but he's just going to be trying to keep his butt out of prison right now.
Yeah,
And
forget
it
about
doesn't sound like the Indianapolis Police Department's going to be like, "Oh, this is a famous guy. We'll find a way to make this go away." It doesn't have that feeling at all right now.
No, he didn't. He never played for the Colts. Or maybe he did, and I just don't remember it.
No.
He's not a Colts legend.
They came out and were very aggressive with their statement over the event. So
Once they figured out he wasn't robbed and stabbed.
right. Yeah.
What's the actual details came out. Yeah, it's hard to imagine anyone's having much of a worse week than Mark Sanchez.
Nope.
Great choice for loser of the week.
Easy.
All right, for my winner of the week, give me the University of North Carolina. That may sound confusing because North Carolina is a 2-3 football team. Their 3 losses are to the 3 Power 4 opponents they've played: TCU, UCF, and Clemson. They've lost those 3 games by a combined score of 120-33.
Woo.
But they're my winner of the week because it's important to have self-awareness in life, Ted. It's very important. So I was pleased when I saw the reports that the docuseries about this season they were supposed to be doing for Hulu, it appears it has been called off.
Yeah, let's put the brakes on that. Let's not take a look behind the scenes with what's going on right now. Not a lot of interest going on with North Carolina, and this isn't the doesn't feel like this is the way you're going to get a lot of people engaged, other than watching to see what type of antics are happening.
That's where I was happy to see this report, but I was also heartbroken because I wanted to watch the beautiful behind the scenes disaster. I wanted to watch it badly. I wanted to see them talk to Ludacris before the concert that he had to play before an 11 a.m. kick. And most of all, I wanted to see how Bill Belichick got talked into doing that Us Weekly cover. That's what I wanted to see, dude.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Hey,
it would have been incredible if we're not going to get it. So I was happy. I was like, oh, well, at least they know that was not a good idea. But then I was like, dang it.
This was one of the most intriguing situations of the season, just to see how it went, and probably got, I think the expectations were a little bit too high to see, what can Belichick do? They don't have a whole lot of personnel there, and this is going to be a long rebuild for them if they can even get there.
December 31st, 2027 is the date to know. According to Belichick's contract, if UNC fires him before then, they will owe him everything he was set to earn up until that date.
Ouch.
Reminder, he signed a 5-year, $50 million contract. Ooh.
So he was
guaranteed first 3 years, guaranteed.
Going to be there for a while. They need to re-engage people, though. What was crazy is that Clemson game, there wasn't anyone there, man.
They're awful.
There wasn't a whole lot of interest in that game, and the people that were there didn't hang around for very long. Kind of happens when you give up a touchdown on the first play of the game.
Belichick has been pretty calm facing all these questions about just how bad they are. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, Michael Lombardi's like, fire it off, be patient, this is a rebuild, emails to their donors. Like, this thing feels like it feels like an absolute disaster.
Yeah, Belichick's the little girl on the swing with the house burning in the background. That's what's going on right now.
It's more of like the dog in the house, but this is fine. This is
Yes,
fine.
yes.
I just it's common knowledge that Bubba Cunningham did not want to hire Bill Belichick. And some very influential people at North Carolina went over his head and made it happen. I imagine Bubba Cunningham makes some interesting phone calls weekly now.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It's like, hey, you got us into this mess. You're gonna fix it. It's so bad that it feels like they should almost just rip the Band-Aid off. Like that's how bad it's looked. It's been a disaster.
Yeah.
On the field and off the field. Like the PR's terrible, the product's terrible, like everything about Carolina football right now is terrible.
It's like you signed a guy for $50 million and how much does he even care that it operates, which is weird considering Belichick's history. Most
Right.
detail grinder that's ever been there, but that's an expensive Band-Aid.
$30 million buyout.
Whew.
I guess he's going to be there for the next couple seasons.
He's at least gonna get what you said. If they fire him before 27, he gets all 50
Before the end of 27. Yeah, it's like he would be guaranteed everything he was supposed to make up to that point. So like if they fired him right now, he gets the $30 million.
I would probably have to say, settle in, folks. Let's see where this goes. I mean,
If I'm Bubba Cunningham, I'm calling the people that went over my head and saying, hey, you wanted to pay this man? You're going to pay him.
well,
Just in a buyout.
Hey, let me know when it gets bad enough that you want to pony up some more cash.
That's not a good situation in Chapel Hill.
No.
On to basketball season there, I assume.
Yes.
All right, for my loser of the week, Auburn. Now it's got nothing to do with their season this year. They got Georgia coming to town this week. Should be a good one. I'm excited to watch that game.
Yep.
But this is all about something they're doing next year. And nothing really surprises me about NIL in college football anymore. But I cannot lie. This one surprised me. I read this article and I went, really? I did not see that coming. Because Auburn announced that their 2026 matchup with Baylor is being moved from Jordan-Hare Stadium to Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta because it will provide NIL opportunities for their players, coordinated by Aflac and the Peach Bowl, because it'll be the Aflac kickoff game.
So I'm guessing you can't share the gate with your players at home, but if you do it at a neutral site, apparently you can. Is that what's happening here?
I believe it's going to be a situation where they do some appearances. They do some commercials for the game, maybe some signings, something like that. They try to get people in the community excited about the game. I don't know, but it is dumb.
I hate it.
I hate it. Ted, here we are, man. NIL is now dictating where games are being played in college football. I saw a lot of the other stuff coming. I did not see this one coming. I won't lie.
Yep. All those NFL stadiums are making calls right now. Hey, you guys want to play a non-conference here and funnel us some money instead of the communities where your football stadiums are? Yeah, we'll take it. Come on. Let's go.
I can't imagine Auburn fans are happy about this.
Auburn it's a college town. It's a small town. Like this is the part that always makes me mad. There are so many people in those communities that have built businesses and built the economy of that that college town around the football games that you have throughout the year. I mean, that's your moneymaker. And every time you move one of those games, you cut a leg out from under a lot of those people that hotels, bars and restaurants, like all the money that is spent whenever you have 80,000 people show up into your college town. Now it goes to Atlanta. Congrats.
A mere hour and a half drive away. There is the cynical. You want to know what my first thought was when I saw this? Well, Auburn's not going to make the SEC championship game anytime soon, so they got to get it. They got to play a game in that building somehow. That was the cynical part of me coming out. I was
Hang
like, oh,
a bunch
well,
of SEC banners and photo it like it's the championship.
yeah. Auburn fans, they would have watched their team play in that building. They thought it was going to be for an SEC championship. It's against Baylor. But I can't remember a neutral site or like a home game. I can't remember a home game being scheduled and then moved to a neutral site like this. Can you? Like, could you imagine if Michigan came out and said, hey, OU fans, we know you guys were very excited about your trip to the big house next year. Sorry.
And so were our fans.
Yeah. Sorry. We're going to move that game to Ford Field in Detroit. Or I guess it'd be more like, we're going to move that game to Cleveland and play in the Browns Stadium.
Okay. Thank you. Absolutely. Yes. We'll do that. I mean, I wanted to see your campus and your 100,000 seat stadium, but if you want to go play it in a doctor's office NFL stadium, sure, let's do it.
And that's the thing. Auburn gets 20,000 tickets for the game. Baylor gets 3,000. The game gets to sell the rest. So it's like I'm just trying to think of like the big games that I played in college. So I that trip to Notre Dame in 2013, like that was a special game for me.
Florida State. That's a special game. I'm trying to think of if we would have played the Notre Dame game like at Soldier Field in Chicago. There's no touchdown Jesus at Soldier Field, like it just I hate that the Baylor players aren't going to get that experience at Auburn. That's the stuff as a player. Like that's really fun. And there's a reason college football is what it is. It's not the NFL, even though there's a lot of things that are moving in that direction. Like the college atmosphere it's everything. I mean, it has a totally different feeling when you go to an NFL stadium. We played in Philly this year. I mean, it's a bad example because there was nobody there, but it's not this. I would rather play that game on a small, like if you're traveling for a non-conference game, you happen to find yourself on the road against a small school. I'd rather play it in that small campus environment. It's what makes college football what it is.
Here's what Auburn's AD said about it. The exposure of playing on a national stage against a Power 4 opponent in one of the premier neutral site games in the country will not only benefit our student athletes financially, but it will also enhance their brands.
No, it won't. It may enhance their bank account because of some weird accounting, but outside of that, it's a lose-lose all the way across the board. Robbing your own fans, handing money to the NFL stadium or whoever, and I don't know. I'm curious to hear what Auburn fans think about it. I doubt they like it, but I guess you never know. The ones that live in Atlanta might.
I assume there's quite a few Auburn fans in Atlanta because it's so close, but I assume that fan base is just more worried about Georgia coming to town this week.
Yeah, probably right.
Let's see if Jackson Arnold can throw it to the right team.
Tough game to get right in.
I think it comes down to them pushing it down the field to Cam Coleman and Eric Singleton. Like Georgia will give up some big plays, man. It's been proven.
Yeah.
We'll see. That'll be a fun game. That's 6:30 ABC game. Georgia only a 3.5-point favorite. That caught a lot of people's attention.
Yeah. I think all the games are going to be close.
Yeah.
Auburn's defense has played solid, kept them in pretty much everything, but it's hard to win football games by banking on 50-50 balls down the field.
Hopefully Auburn's team's not too worried about which events they're going to have to do for the opener next year. Birthday shout outs. Welcome to the world, Calvin Anthony Watkins.
Happy first birthday to Eli Ellie.
I'm going Eiley.
Eiley Jane Robinson.
Oh no, I typed it wrong. Is it Jean? Okay, we got to do both. Eiley Jane Robinson, happy first birthday, or Eiley Jean Robinson. I typed Jaen, so I'm not sure which one it is.
Your parents will get it right when they relay the message.
Hey, happy birthday, Eiley. You're one. You won't know what's going on here. Happy third birthday to Maggie Pitzer.
Pitzer. Happy fifth birthday to Mateo Torres.
Happy fifth birthday to Kipton King.
Happy seventh birthday to Camille Hewitt.
Happy 11th birthday to Hunter and Eli Ferguson.
Happy 14th birthday to Blake Wild McIntyre.
Happy 29th birthday to Holly Salas.
Happy 38th birthday to Kelsey Voitovich.
Voitovich.
Kelsey
You nailed it.
Voitovich. There we
Happy
go.
37th birthday to Arturo Torres.
Happy 39th birthday to Logan Morris.
Happy 45th birthday to Joshua Ryan Onderek.
Yes.
Onderek. I don't know. Never seen that one in my life.
Happy 50th birthday to Jared Henderson.
Happy 50th birthday to Jeremy Arnott,
I think.
Is he Canadian or not?
In Oklahoma, it's Arnott.
Jeremy Arnott. Happy birthday, buddy.
Happy 56th birthday to Brad Langley.
Happy birthday to Bryce Peltier.
And happy birthday to Chase Peltier.
Man, I messed up a lot on that one.
There
were a lot of them, but a lot of them were not easy.
Yeah, not a lot of Smiths and Jones in there.
Like, how do I fancy this one up? Is it fancy or not? I don't know. Well, episode 570 in the books. We'll have a new podcast that'll drop on Sunday. Hopefully we're in a good mood, man.
Yeah, I hope so. We will be. We will be in a great mood.
Love that. Just a reminder, please subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hope you all have a great rest of your week. Have an awesome weekend. If you're going to the game, remember, wear crimson.
That's right.
Don't be the person wearing white or black.
Blue.
Like, the whole point is it's half crimson, half burnt orange. Wear crimson, people. Come on. Use your head. If you're packing right now for the game, pack a crimson shirt for the game.
That's it. And a hat and sunscreen.
Yes. Oh, some of the sunburns coming out of that game every year are just priceless. Until next time, we appreciate y'all for listening. Do what you always do, Oklahoma. Take care of each other.